Chapter 1. It's only life. We all get through it. Not all of us complete the journey in the same condition. Along the way, some lose their legs or eyes in accidents or altercations, while others skate through the years with nothing worse to worry about than an occasional bad hair day. I still possessed both legs and both eyes, and even my hair looked all right when I rose that Wednesday morning in late January. If I'd returned to bed 16 hours later, having lost all of my hair but nothing else, I would consider the day a triumph. Even minus a few teeth, I'd call it a triumph. When I raised the window shades in my bedroom, the cocoon sky was gray and swollen, windless and still, but pregnant with a promise of change. Overnight, according to the radio, an airliner had crashed in Ohio. Hundreds perished. The sole survivor, a 10-month-old child, had been found upright and unscathed in a battered seat that stood in a field of scorched and twisted debris. Throughout the morning, under the expectant sky, low, sluggish waves exhausted themselves on the shore. The Pacific was gray and awash with inky shadows, as if sinuous sea beasts of fantastical form swam just below the surface. During the night, I'd twice awakened from a dream in which the tide flowed red, and the sea throbbed with a terrible light. As nightmares go, I'm sure you've had worse. The problem is that a few of my dreams have come true, and people have died. While I prepared breakfast for my employer, the kitchen radio brought news that the jihadists who had the previous day seized an ocean liner in the Mediterranean were now beheading passengers. Years ago, I stopped watching news programs on television. I can tolerate words and the knowledge they impart, but the images undo me. Because he was an insomniac who went to bed at dawn, Hutch ate breakfast at noon. He paid me well and he was kind, so I cooked to his schedule without complaint. Hutch took his meals in the dining room, where the draperies were always closed. Not one bright sliver of any window pane remained exposed. He often enjoyed a film while he ate, lingering over coffee until the credits rolled. That day, rather than cable news, he watched Carole Lombard and John Barrymore in 20th Century. 88 years old, born in the era of silent films, when Lillian Gish and Rudolph Valentino were stars, and having later been a successful actor, Hutch thought less in words than in images, and he dwelt in fantasy. Beside his plate stood a bottle of Purell sanitizing gel. He lavished it on his hands not only before and after eating, but also at least twice during a meal. Like most Americans in the first decade of the new century, Hutch feared everything except what he ought to fear. When TV news programs ran out of stories about drunk, drug-addled, murderous, and otherwise crazed celebrities, which happened perhaps twice a year, they sometimes filled the brief gap with a sensationalistic piece on that rare flesh-eating bacteria. Consequently, Hutch feared contracting the ravenous germ. From time to time, like a dour character in a tale by Poe, he huddled in his lamp-lit study, brooding about his fate, about the fragility of his flesh,